Dear listeners, welcome to ASMR Sleep. I'm your host, Jason. Tonight, we're embarking on a mysterious and magical journey together, exploring the hidden stories that come alive under the cover of night. In this starry evening, let's dive into a world of enchantment and listen to these captivating tales. Let's take a moment to relax and embrace these three magical stories. May tonight's journey bring you unforgettable surprises and deep emotions. Are you ready? Let's begin this mystical adventure. In the far north, covered by endless winter snow, lies a small village called Nolan. Winters here are long and harsh, with heavy snow blocking the roads to the outside world. The villagers mostly rely on a self-sufficient way of life. Eric and Linnea grew up in this isolated, snowy world, running through thick white snow and playing hide and seek in the soft snowdrifts. Surrounding the village is a dense pine forest, with trees blanketed in thick layers of snow. When the sun appears, the white world is sprinkled with golden light. But behind this serene beauty lies a cold, eerie atmosphere. In recent years, a mysterious disease has started spreading through the village. It's as relentless as the northern wind, silently and irresistibly attacking every family. The disease first appeared in Eric's home. His father, once a strong and robust hunter, suddenly became weak and sickly, unable to even lift his hunting bow. Then, like wildfire, the sickness spread, felling the elderly and children alike. The villagers, with their rudimentary medical knowledge, felt immense fear and helplessness in the face of this sudden calamity. Eric and Linnea often sat on a large rock beside Linnea's house, watching the falling snowflakes and discussing the disease and ancient legends. According to the stories passed down by the elders, there was a giant tree of life growing in the far underground world, a place full of wonder and danger. This tree's branches reached into the unknown darkness, while its roots were planted at the boundary between life and death. One cold evening, as the village chimneys softly puffed smoke into the air, Eric decided he could no longer wait passively. He told Linnea that he was setting out a journey to find the tree of life and seek a cure for his father and the villagers. Linnea, understanding Eric's determination and bravery, knew her intuition and wisdom could help him. So she decided to join his quest. They began preparing for the journey. Eric checked his sword and backpack, while Linnea gathered maps and herbs. With the blessings of the village elders, they walked through the snow-covered pine forest, setting off on their journey into the unknown. Snowflakes glistened like silver in the setting sun between the pine trees, as if the whole world was bidding them farewell. On the morning Eric and Linnea left Nolan Village, a thin layer of mist covered the entire village. The air was filled with the fresh scent of pine trees and the distant smell of cooking fires. The sun had just risen, and its golden rays pierced through the treetops, casting a warm glow on the snowy ground. The villagers gathered at the small square at the village entrance, their expressions a mix of worry and hope. Eric wore a thick leather coat, and at his waist hung a family heirloom sword, sharp and specially treated to withstand the corrosive environment of the underground world. Linnea carried a heavy leather notebook, filled with records of all known herbs and their properties, as well as a detailed map marking the secret passages said to lead to the underground world. The village elder, an old and wise man, held a finely carved staff with a glowing crystal embedded at the top. He slowly approached Eric and Linnea, his eyes filled with deep concern and boundless trust. In a raspy voice, he warned them that the underground world was not a place for ordinary people. It was filled with unpredictable dangers and trials. "Remember," the elder said softly, pulling a small silver box from his wide robe. Inside were 2 ancient charms, glowing faintly blue. These charms will protect you from evil forces, but their power is not infinite. Use them only in the most perilous moments. Eric and Linnea took the charms, feeling a slight vibration from them, like the whispers of an ancient power. They carefully hid the charms in their clothing, then bowed to the elder and the gathered villagers, expressing their gratitude and farewell. As Eric and Linnea entered the forest, their figures were gradually swallowed by the dense pine trees and the rising mist. The light in the forest was dim, and their determined footprints marked the snowy ground, a journey they had to complete on their own. They passed through scenes decorated by winter spirits, feeling the biting cold and the ancient call of nature with every breath. Their first destination was the entrance to the mysterious underground passage, located at the summit of a mountain known as Silent Peak. It was said that this peak was formed by the constant push of underground forces, and at the top lay an ancient stone gate, the only way into the underground world. Eric and Linnea had to climb a winding mountain path, passing through dense forests and cliffs. Every step required caution. The path was full of loose rocks and hidden ice patches. Sometimes they had to rely on each other's strength to move forward, while at other times they had to separate to find a safe route. They found a sheltered cave halfway up the mountain and decided to rest there for the night, preparing for the next day's climb. As night fell, the shadow of Silent Peak under the moonlight looked even more mysterious and majestic. In the cave, Eric and Linnea sat around a campfire, discussing their plans and every legend they knew about the Tree of Life. The firelight danced on Linnea's face, reflecting her determined and serious expression. Eric felt an unprecedented sense of responsibility. He knew they were carrying the hopes and future of their entire village. At that moment, they stood on the edge of the unknown, and hope, ready to face the trials of destiny. The summit of Silent Peak was within reach, and Eric and Linnea's breath formed white clouds in the frigid air. As they climbed the final steep rock face, the last rays of the setting sun disappeared below the horizon. The top of the mountain was a wide, open space with an ancient stone gate in the center. Strange symbols were carved into the gate, remnants of a long-lost civilization. Eric and Linnea approached the stone gate, feeling a faint vibration from the ground below. It was both a summons and a warning. Eric took out the charm from his pocket and lightly touched the gate. The symbols on the gate began to glow, and a pale blue light slowly opened the portal to the underground world. They stepped inside and were met with a winding stone staircase surrounded by rough rock walls. As they descended deeper, the air grew damp and cold and strange. Unearthly sounds began to echo around them, the very breath of the underground world, or perhaps the echoes of distant times. Before long, they encountered their first challenge, a massive underground river with raging waters, roaring as if to warn off intruders. Eric searched for a way across, but found no bridge or crossing point. Linnea noticed some strange, glowing blue mushrooms growing by the riverbank. Carefully picking some, she recalled that, according to her notes, these mushrooms could create temporary floating bridges in water. Using these magical mushrooms, they carefully walked across the raging river. Step by step, relying on each other's trust and steady footing, they finally crossed the river. This experience reinforcing their belief that this mysterious underground world held countless unknowns but also solutions. Deeper into the underground, the environment grew more treacherous. They encountered a swarm of giant subterranean worms, their skin glowing with a copper-green sheen, blocking their path forward. Turning back was not an option. They had to face these creatures. Eric drew his sword, ready for battle, while Linnea found a special herb recipe in her notebook. This herb could produce a strong odor to repel the worms. Under Eric's cover, Linnea quickly mixed and created the potion, then threw it toward the worms. The foul smell immediately filled the air, and the worms retreated, clearing a path deeper into the underground. Their teamwork and bravery once again helped them overcome the obstacle. As they ventured further, they reached a vast cavern. In the center was a forest of crystals, glowing with an ethereal light that illuminated their path. However, as they moved through the crystal forest, a group of crystalline creatures appeared. These creatures seemed to be part of the crystals themselves, only visible when they moved. Eric and Linnea stopped, observing the creatures' movements. Eric noticed that these crystal beings were particularly sensitive to light. He suggested that Linnea use her notebook to reflect the crystal light. creating a confusing light environment to disorient the creatures. By doing so, they managed to slip past the crystal creatures undetected. After a series of trials and challenges, Eric and Linnea finally arrived at a massive underground plaza, where it was said the roots of the Tree of Life were hidden. Their footsteps echoed in the vast, empty space, filled with a mix of hope and tension. Ahead, a faint light glimmered in the darkness, marking the end of their journey and the beginning of a new challenge. Eric and Linnea finally arrived at the sacred site of the Tree of Life. They stood in a massive underground cavern, a place where nature and magic intertwined. The cavern's ceiling soared high, dotted with countless glowing crystals that shimmered like stars, casting a soft light below. In the center of the cavern stood the Tree of Life. Majestic and awe-inspiring, its branches wide and twisted. Its leaves a brilliant green that glowed with a warm, mysterious light. In this radiance, the figure of the guardian stood out. It appeared as if made of dense black mist, constantly shifting shapes from a ferocious beast to a towering warrior, then to a sorrowful old man. Its eyes were like two deep pools of darkness, staring straight into Eric and Linnea's souls. The guardian's voice was deep and powerful, echoing as if from the depths of the earth. Who are you, and why do you disturb this ancient silence? Eric stepped forward, summoning awe as courage, his voice steady and clear. I am Eric, and this is my companion Linnea. We come from the distant village of Nola, seeking the Tree of Life's help to heal our people and our village. Our intentions are pure, and we ask for your understanding and assistance. The guardian was silent for a moment, then began to circle them slowly, as if reading their hearts and past. Your path is paved with good intentions, but good intentions alone are not enough to gain passage. You must prove your purity and bravery through my trials. The guardian's body began to emit a deep purple glow. It presented 3 challenges, each testing their wisdom and resolve. First trial, the question of wisdom. Wisdom is the light that overcomes ignorance. The guardian's voice sounded like ancient wind. Tell me, if you face an enemy that cannot be conquered by force, how will you respond? Eric thought for a moment, then replied, we will use wisdom and strategy. Understand the enemy, find their weakness, and win with heart, not strength. The guardian nodded, accepting this answer. Second trial, the key of courage. The guardian led them to a massive stone door within the cavern. Courage is the power to face fear. Behind this door lies your deepest fears. Only by confronting them can you pass through. Linnea and Eric held hands, took a deep breath, and pushed open the door together. Beyond it was a dim space, where their past fears materialized, losing loved ones, being abandoned, failing to save their people. They gripped each other's hands tightly, walking step by step through the space, facing each fear until the last shadow faded into light. Third trial, the heart of truth. Returning to the tree of life, the guardian asked one final question. Why do you believe you are worthy of this tree's blessing? Eric and Linnea exchanged a glance, and Eric said, "We may not be more worthy than others, but we represent a community with a strong will to survive. Every effort we make is for the continuation of more lives. We believe the tree of life's power is meant to help those who truly need it." The guardian pondered for a moment. Finally, its body began to fade until it disappeared entirely. A warm voice echoed in the cavern. "You have proven your purity and courage. Go, and let the tree of life's power bring you hope." With the guardian's blessing, Eric and Linnea approached the tree of life. When they touched the trunk, a warm energy surged into their bodies, filling the entire cavern. They felt an unparalleled sense of peace and strength, knowing they would return to their village with the power of hope and healing. Eric and Linnea stood before the massive roots of the tree of life, filled with a profound sense of awe. The trunk was towering and thick, seeming to bear the marks of countless centuries. The tree's canopy was lush and vibrant, its leaves emitting a gentle green glow in the faint underground light, making everything around it feel mysterious and majestic. Having passed the guardian's trials, they were now allowed to approach this magical tree of life. However, their task was still daunting. They needed to carefully obtain the mysterious healing fruit from the tree, which was said to grow only on specific branches deep within the canopy, and only a few each season. Eric and Linnea looked around, searching for a way to reach the canopy. The roots of the tree of life intertwined in a complex pattern, forming a natural staircase, but every step was slippery, requiring extreme caution. Eric went first, carefully testing the stability of each root, then helping Linnea up. They climbed through the intricate root system, feeling the tree's life force with every step. This energy was both warm and invigorating, bringing a deep sense of peace and serenity. However, as they neared the canopy, the environment grew more perilous. The gaps between branches widened, and they had to leap from one branch to another, with an abyss of darkness below. Linnea's heart raced, but with Eric's encouragement, she gradually overcame her fear. They supported each other, each leap a test of their trust. Finally, they reached a small platform formed by intersecting branches, where clusters of magical fruit hung, glowing softly. The fruit was pale green, translucent like crystal, with a luminous liquid inside that swayed gently as they approached. Eric reached out, ready to pick the first fruit. Suddenly, a slight tremor ran through the canopy, and the fruit began to glow brighter and brighter. "Watch out!" Linnea shouted. The tremor grew stronger, as if the entire tree was warning them of impending danger. Eric steadied himself, knowing this might be the tree's final protective mechanism. He gently touched the fruit, conveying their respect and gratitude to the tree. Gradually, the tremor ceased, and the fruit's light returned to normal. Eric carefully picked the first fruit and handed it to Linnea. Linnea took the fruit, feeling the life energy emanating from it. They continued to collect a few more fruits, each time expressing deep thanks for the tree's gift. Once they finished, they cautiously made their way back down, careful not to harm the tree that had granted them hope. When Eric and Linnea finally returned safely to the ground, their hearts were filled with indescribable joy and gratitude. They knew that bringing these healing fruits back to their village would save many lives and possibly change the future of the entire village. But more importantly, through this adventure, they had not only found hope for healing but also gained a profound appreciation for the power of nature and the wonders of the universe. As Eric and Linnea set off on their journey home with a bag full of healing fruits, their hearts were a mix of excitement and complexity. They knew the road back would be filled with difficulties and challenges, but carrying the gifts from the Tree of Life, they were also filled with determination and hope. The path out of the underground world was more treacherous than they remembered. The route through the caves seemed to have changed since they left, with new rockfalls and unstable ground making every step uncertain. Eric led the way, carefully scouting the path, while Linnea followed closely, both of them alert to any possible dangers. Though they had successfully obtained the healing fruits, the pressure and anxiety of the return journey loomed over them. They had to ensure these precious fruits made it back to the village safely. Any small mistake could lead to irreversible consequences. Eric and Linnea took turns carrying the fruits, ensuring each had time to rest and recover their strength. After several days of arduous travel, they finally left the rugged mountains behind and stepped onto the familiar path leading to Nolan Village. As they approached home, Linnea noticed the vegetation along the way had become more lush, and the air was filled with the fragrance of spring, a sign of new life about to blossom. When they finally saw the outline of Nolan Village, the setting sun cast a warm glow from behind the mountains, painting the entire village in golden hues. The villagers noticed their arrival, and soon, cheers and shouts filled the air. People poured out of their homes to welcome the heroes who had returned with hope. Eric and Linnea walked into the village, holding the fruits like precious treasures. They handed them over to the village elder and the village healer, who eagerly began studying how to use them to cure the sick. Over the next few days, the village's condition began to improve significantly, and the shadow of illness gradually lifted, replaced by celebrations and laughter. The village held a grand celebration to honor Eric and Linnea's bravery and contributions. People danced around bonfires, holding torches high, their faces alight with joy and relief. Children ran and played nearby, while the elders spoke in hushed tones about the young adventurer's journey, their deeds now a part of the village's legends. That night, Eric and Linnea sat by the village elder, around the bonfire, listening to the chatter and laughter of their fellow villagers. They knew that while there would still be many challenges ahead, at that moment they felt an unparalleled sense of fulfillment and happiness. They had not only healed their village, but had also found new meaning and direction in their lives. This sense of achievement was beyond words. As the power of the healing fruits began to show, life in Nolan Village started to flourish anew. The shadow of illness was dispelled, fields and gardens were once again tended with care, and the laughter of children filled every corner of the village. Eric and Linnea, the heroes who brought hope, were given new responsibilities and admiration. With the arrival of spring, Nolan Village became even more vibrant. Flowers bloomed under the warm sunlight, and the branches of fruit trees were covered with fragrant buds. Eric often worked in the fields, while Linnea set up a small clinic in the village, using the knowledge she had gained on their journey to help the villagers. In the evenings, the two would often walk together on the newly paved stone paths, discussing their plans for the future. Eric had an idea to expand their farmland and introduce more crop varieties to enhance the village's self-sufficiency. Linnea, on the other hand, wanted to further her knowledge of herbs and healing, possibly embarking on another journey to seek broader knowledge. One night, as they walked under the starlit sky, Linnea suddenly stopped and pointed to the sky. "Look at that star," she said, her eyes sparkling with curiosity and determination. "I read in ancient books that it points to the unknown lands of the north, where ancient secrets and unknown herbs are said to be hidden." Eric gazed at the star, feeling a longing for adventure stir within him. He took Linnea's hand and replied, "Maybe our next journey should be there to uncover those secrets and bring back more knowledge and resources for our village." This idea quickly resonated between them. They knew such a journey would be full of challenges and unknowns, but just like their previous experience, their combined effort and faith would see them through. Back in Nolan Village, as time passed, villagers began to notice some subtle changes. Some of the older residents recalled stories they had heard in their youth about mysterious caves hidden in the surrounding mountains, said to contain ancient treasures and great dangers. As these stories spread, they sparked the curiosity of the younger generation. One evening, around the bonfire, a young villager proposed a bold idea. If Eric and Linnea can bring back healing fruits from the underground world, maybe we can explore those mysterious caves and find those ancient treasures too. The suggestion caused a stir among the youth, their eyes alight with the spark of adventure. Eric and Linnea, hearing this, exchanged a smile, knowing their actions had inspired the courage and adventurous spirit of the village's youth. In this ancient land, every ending heralds a new beginning. For Eric and Linnea, their story was far from over. New journeys and adventures awaited them. And for Nolan Village, this land steeped in legends always held undiscovered miracles waiting for brave hearts to explore. Anna's heartbeat seemed even louder in the quiet of the night. Her steps were light yet determined as she walked along the narrow paths at the edge of the village, heading toward a place considered sacred for generations. The elders called it the Moonlight Spring, a small pool of water said to reflect the secrets and wisdom of the moon. The night sky was deep and inky, dotted with twinkling stars, each seeming to tell an ancient story. Reaching the edge of the spring, Anna felt a cool night breeze carrying the scent of wildflowers from the distant valley and the earthy smell of damp soil. She carefully unrolled her parchment, placing it on a smooth stone by the spring. The moonlight bathed the parchment, making its edges glow as if it were alive. Taking a deep breath, Anna began reciting the verses that expressed her deepest desires and dreams. Her voice floated on the breeze, mingling with the distant nocturnal songs of birds and the gentle babble of a nearby brook. Every word was filled with a longing for freedom, a challenge to constraints, and a fearless exploration of the unknown future. As her poem reached its climax, ripples began to form on the surface of the spring. The moonlight spread across the water, creating strange patterns. Suddenly, a silhouette emerged from the center of the water, a figure made of mist and moonlight, the moon sprite, Moonali. Moonali's form was elegant and ever-shifting, like a cloud of gauze dancing under the night sky. Her voice was clear and enchanting, like distant wind chimes echoing from the valley. Anna, your call has pierced the night, awakening deep magic. I am Moonali, guardian of the moon's secrets. Tell me, what is your deepest desire? Anna gazed at the mysterious being, filled with both awe and hope. Summoning her courage, she spoke clearly and firmly. Moonali, I wish to break free from these invisible chains. I want more choices in life, not defined by tradition and expectations. I want to explore the world, experience different lives, and find my true self. The moon sprite smiled, her laughter as sweet as spring water. Your wish is pure, but every wish comes with a price. Are you ready to face the changes that may come? Though uneasy, Anna's longing outweighed her fear. She nodded resolutely, saying, I am ready. Whatever the cost, I am willing to try. for even the chance of freedom. Moonily extended her hand, drawing a beam of light from the spring and offering it to Aina. The light coalesced into a glowing jewel, cold in Aina's palm. This is the moonstone, the key to your wish. Each time you make a choice, it will guide you. But remember, every choice has its consequences. Taking the mystical moonstone, Aina felt a surge of power awakening within her. She knew that from this moment on, her life would never be the same. As the moon sprite faded into the night, Aina stood up, gazing at the star-studded sky, filled with new hope and unknown worries, but ready to face the changes ahead. After receiving the moonstone, Aina immediately felt a surge of unprecedented power within her. It wasn't just a physical strength, but a deep awakening. Clutching the stone, she was filled with both anticipation and anxiety about the changes to come. Walking back to the village at night, Aina's steps felt unusually light. The night seemed more vivid, the stars shone brighter, and the moonlight felt softer. Each step carried a sense of newfound freedom, as if she was already breaking free from those invisible chains. Once home, Aina placed the moonstone in a special spot in her small house, among her cherished books and handmade trinkets. That night, she tossed and turned in bed, her mind filled with dreams of the future. The next day, Aina decided to fulfill her first wish to escape the constraints of her current life. Standing outside her house, she took a deep breath of fresh morning air, tightly gripped the moonstone, and whispered her wish. I wish to experience different lives, understand the world's diversity, and not be bound by tradition and expectations. As soon as she spoke, the world around her began to shift. Colors in the air became more vibrant, sounds more distinct. Aina felt herself enveloped by an invisible force. Her vision darkened, and when she opened her eyes again, she was no longer in her small village. She found herself standing in a bustling market, surrounded by people of various skin tones, clothing styles, and languages. Stalls were filled with goods she had never seen, and the air was thick with the scent of spices and seafood, accompanied by the constant hum of voices. Aina felt an exhilarating rush of excitement and nerves. Knowing her wish had come true, she was now living a different life. In this new world, Aina tried various jobs she had never experienced before, from street performer to vendor, each encounter broadening her perspective and teaching her new lessons. However, over time, she began to realize that despite the changing scenes and roles, the loneliness and confusion within her remained unresolved. Each night, As she sat under strange rooftops gazing at the stars, she still felt a profound sense of isolation and emptiness. Months later, Anna stood in yet another different landscape. This time, she was in a golden wheat field, with rolling hills and an expanse of sky in the distance. Life here was peaceful and simple, with people living in harmony with nature. Yet, Anna's heart remained restless. She began to question whether true freedom really existed or if she had been chasing an unattainable illusion. After using the moonstone to fulfill her first wish, Anna's fantasies of freedom quickly became complex and confusing. Each time she moved through different lives and cultures, she felt the initial thrill and excitement, but it was always followed by a deeper sense of loneliness and disconnection. She began to question whether true connection and belonging were just an illusion. Fulfilling this second wish, seeking deeper connections and recognition, Anna gripped the moonstone tightly, wishing to be loved and respected by everyone. She imagined this would bring her true peace and contentment. However, when the wish came true, the reality was far from what she expected. Anna found herself in a brand new environment, an idyllic village where everyone smiled and showed her respect. People gathered around her, praising her wisdom and beauty, competing for her attention. At first, this change was intoxicating. She enjoyed being surrounded by people, and every smile and compliment seemed like something she had always longed for. But as time passed, Anna began to notice the fear and unease hidden in their eyes. She gradually realized that their respect and admiration were not genuine but stemmed from their belief that she possessed some supernatural power that could influence their fate and well-being. This love, based on misunderstanding and fear, left Anna feeling empty and disappointed, and she started to doubt the authenticity of this adoration. Exploring the third wish, deeply disappointed and confused, Anna once again walked to the moonlit spring on a lonely night, reflecting on her journey and all she had experienced. She realized that no matter how much she tried to change her external world, she would never find true fulfillment and happiness without understanding her true identity and life's purpose. So, she decided to make her third and final wish to see her true self and life's purpose. As she chanted this wish, the moonstone glowed brighter than ever before, and the entire world seemed to respond to her call. Then, everything became still, and Anna felt herself being drawn into a profound journey of introspection. During this journey, Anna experienced a series of symbolic scenes and events, each representing a significant moment or decision in her life. She saw her childhood innocence and curiosity, her teenage rebellion and exploration, and her adult confusion and bewilderment. Each scene deepened her understanding of her character, fears, and desires. Eventually, Ana arrived at a place that symbolized the dark forest within her mind. There, she faced her deepest fears and uncertainties. But she did not retreat. Instead, she bravely moved forward. As she accepted and understood these fears, a warm light began to illuminate the forest, bringing comfort and strength. In that moment, Ana realized that her true power did not come from the ability to change the outside world, but from understanding and accepting her own essence. She understood that her life's purpose was not to escape reality or seek others' approval, but to discover her unique qualities and use them to impact and help those around her. After experiencing a series of life changes and profound self-discoveries, Ana returned to the sacred place where she had performed the ritual on a full moon night, the Moonlight Spring. Once again, the night sky unfolded its magnificent starry canvas, each star silently witnessing her transformation. Ana stood by the spring, watching the moonlight dance on the rippling water. Her heart was filled with an unprecedented peace. The moonstone, her mystical companion, lay quietly in her palm, emitting a gentle blue glow. Ana knew she needed one final conversation with the moon sprite, Moonlight, to complete this journey of the soul. Moonlight, I call upon you. I have some things to say. Her voice floated on the night breeze, soft yet resolute. Ripples spread across the water, and Moonlight's figure slowly emerged, still elegant and flowing as if woven from the night sky itself. Her voice, as enchanting as ever, carried a hint of unchanging mystery. Ana, I can sense your transformation. Tell me, what have you learned on this journey? Moonlight asked, her eyes sparkling with curiosity and respect for this mortal woman. Ana took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts, and then began to speak. Moonlight, when I first made my wishes, I thought freedom and fulfillment came from changing the external world. I wanted to escape my life, be adored by everyone, and discover my true identity. But each wish granted taught me a profound truth, that true fulfillment and freedom come not from the outside, but from inner acceptance and understanding. She paused, then continued, through these experiences, I've learned to accept my true self. I realized that what I truly need is to establish genuine connections with my community, not as an idealized or isolated figure, but as my authentic self, able to share my strengths and vulnerabilities. The moon sprite listened quietly, a gentle smile forming on her face. You have traveled a long and difficult path, Ana. Your growth surpasses your initial wishes. This is the journey every soul seeking truth must undertake. Ana felt a sense of relief and accomplishment. She knew she was ready to return to her community, to help and inspire others with her newfound self. She said to Moonlight, "I thank you for granting my wishes, even though they brought challenges I hadn't anticipated. They allow me to grow and gain insight. I hope to bring these lessons back to my village, to help those who might be struggling with similar issues." Moonlight nodded, her figure starting to fade. Remember, Ana, every person's journey of the soul is unique, but sharing your story and wisdom can light the way for others. Your journey may have reached a milestone, but your impact is just beginning. As the moon spreads form completely vanished into the moonlight, Ana stood there, filled with new hope and a sense of responsibility. She knew her life had irrevocably changed, and she was ready to live in a whole new way, not to seek fulfillment and freedom, but to create them. When Ana stepped back into her village, it was as if the ground beneath her feet could sense the change within her. The village was still a familiar landscape, but everything seemed more vibrant to her. The winding paths, the chimneys of the cottages, all radiated a welcoming aura. Her return did not go unnoticed. The villagers quickly sensed the new confidence and grace she exuded. Ana immediately threw herself into village life with a newfound enthusiasm and wisdom, helping the villagers solve various problems. Whether it was mediating disputes or guiding families through tough times, Ana always found the right approach to help them find new solutions. Her words were filled with strength and passion, and her advice was always spot on, giving people an unprecedented sense of hope and comfort. She collaborated with the village elders to introduce new community activities, like communal workdays to improve public facilities and festival celebrations where everyone could express themselves and share their stories and talents. These activities not only strengthened the village's cohesion, but also gave everyone a sense of participation and contribution. Day by day, thanks to Ana's relentless efforts, the atmosphere in the village began to change. People became more open about discussing their problems and were willing to try new solutions. Ana's influence grew, and she not only gained respect but also became a true leader, guiding the village towards harmony and innovation. Time flew by, and soon another full moon night arrived. Ana decided to hold a special ceremony on this night, not to seek change, but to celebrate self-discovery and community unity. Everyone in the village was invited to participate, each bringing their own sense of gratitude and anticipation. In the evening, the villagers gathered by the moonlit spring. Ana had prepared special ceremonial items, including spices, flower petals, and small tokens representing each household. As the moon rose higher, the ceremony began. Anna led the group in singing songs of gratitude, their voices blending with the night, creating a nearly tangible atmosphere of harmony. At the ceremony's climax, Anna walked to the spring, holding a container filled with clear water. She gently poured the water into the spring, symbolizing new beginnings and the cleansing of the past. Then, she invited everyone to come to the spring, to dip their hands into the water and feel this communal blessing. As the night grew late and the ceremony ended, the villagers dispersed under the starlit sky, their hearts filled with new hope and strength. Anna stood by the spring, gazing at the clear night sky, feeling a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. She knew that, despite the challenges and unknowns of her journey, she had finally found true belonging not just within herself, but also among the land and people she loved. That night, Anna was no longer a solitary traveler seeking answers, but a leader bringing light and hope to her entire community. Her story, and the changes she brought to the village, would be remembered and retold for generations under the starlit skies. On the outskirts of a starlit city in Latin America, Camila walked in the stillness of the night. This city was known for its rich culture and vibrant colors, but Camila's mood was a stark contrast to her surroundings. She felt empty and lost. Ever since she gave up on her youthful dream of being an artist and settled into a mundane life, the fire inside her seemed to slowly die out. However, that night, a narrow alley she stumbled upon would lead her to a legendary place that only appeared at midnight, the Dream Market. The market was hidden behind a wall adorned with countless colorful lights, unknown to the average person. Camila pushed open an old wooden door, and before her unfolded a world of wonders. The vendors, each with unique faces and shifting forms, sold not ordinary goods, but dreams and hopes of all kinds. The market was filled with mysterious scents and enchanting music, making it feel like she had stepped into another dimension. After Camila stepped through the creaky old wooden door, she found herself on a narrow cobblestone path of dark red stones. The air was thick with the mixed aroma of jasmine and cinnamon, and the flickering lights twinkled like vines around the eaves and stalls, decorating the market like an eternal festival. The stark contrast between the quiet night and this celebration filled Camila's every step with curiosity and wonder. The vendors in the market were diverse, some dressed in traditional ethnic attire, others wearing exotic masks. Behind them, shelves were piled high with jars and bottles, not filled with ordinary goods, but with glowing vials, luminous orbs, and jars containing strange plants. Each stall had a small wooden sign with enticing words like courage, adventure, love, or wealth written in golden letters. Camila slowly walked past a stall selling time, where an old man with deep, soulful eyes seemed to see right through her. "Need more time?" he asked in a gentle, magnetic voice, shaking an hourglass filled with shimmering sand. "For a price, you can revisit any beautiful moment." Camila was drawn to his profound gaze, but politely shook her head. She wasn't looking to return to the past. She was seeking possibilities for the future. As she continued deeper into the market, she encountered a stall selling dreams. The vendor, a young woman in a vibrant, colorful dress, smiled mysteriously. Her stall was filled with small boxes, each containing different trinkets and symbols representing various dreams. "Pick one, dear," the woman invited. Camila's fingers gently brushed over the boxes before stopping on one adorned with tiny stars and moons. She opened it to find a small glowing stone and an old, yellowed map inside. "This is a guide to the lost city," the woman whispered, "where all unrealized dreams are hidden." Camila felt an indescribable excitement. She thanked the woman and moved on, her heart brimming with anticipation for the unknown. Each step felt like she was fulfilling her destiny, each encounter like it was meant to be. After passing by rows of stalls, she reached the center of the market, where a giant fountain emitted a soft glow. Everyone in the market seemed drawn to this light, gathering around the fountain with looks of satisfaction or anticipation on their faces. At that moment, Camila realized that the dream market was more than just a place to trade dreams. It was a reflection of each person's soul, mirroring their deepest desires and fears. She knew that the experiences here would forever change her life, teaching her how to find her balance between dreams and reality. The market owner's figure seemed to materialize from the mist, standing behind a stall illuminated by a strange light, his face inscrutable. The coin in his hand glinted enticingly in the faint light, and as he handed it to Camila, her hand trembled slightly. "Remember, every wish comes with a price," he said in a deep, mysterious voice that seemed to reach into her soul. Camila clutched the coin, feeling an unprecedented surge of power. Taking a deep breath, she walked away from the market owner's stall, her heart filled with both excitement and trepidation. She wandered through the market, each step immersed in the gentle glow of the lanterns and the soft murmur of the vendors. Finding a secluded corner, she gently tossed the coin into the air and made her first wish to revive her dream of being a painter. The coin traced a silver arc in the air before landing softly in her palm. Soon, Camilla found her artistic abilities miraculously enhanced. She began creating breathtaking paintings, each stroke filled with power and emotion. Her work quickly caused a sensation in the art world. Galleries clamored to exhibit her pieces. Critics raved, and her name swiftly rose to prominence. However, as her fame in the art world grew, Camilla noticed her personal life slipping away. She spent all her days immersed in her studio, ignoring calls from friends and invitations to social gatherings. Her canvas and paints became her entire world, while real-life relationships faded into the background. Her friend Sophia tried to reach out to her, but Camilla was always engrossed in her work, eventually forgetting to respond to messages. Sophia stood outside Camilla's studio, peering through the half-open door, watching her friend absorbed in painting, feeling a deep sense of loss. "Do you only talk to your paintings now, Camilla?" Sophia asked softly, her voice tinged with a hint of tears. It was then that Camilla realized her life had become completely dominated by her art. While her paintings brought her fame and a sense of self-fulfillment, they also disconnected her from the real world. She began to question if this was truly the life she wanted. One night, deep in thought, Camilla walked back to the mysterious market, searching for the market owner, hoping to find a way to balance her love for art with her increasingly distant personal relationships. The market was still brightly lit, each stall brimming with allure and mystery. She navigated through the bustling crowd and finally found the enigmatic market owner in a dim corner. "I need help," Camilla said, her voice filled with helplessness and confusion. "My art has made me famous, but I've lost everything else in my life." A deep gleam flashed in the market owner's eyes as he slowly spoke, every wish fulfilled as an exchange. "You gain something, but you inevitably lose something. Now, you need to decide how to use your next wish to restore the balance you've lost." Camilla stood there silently, the scales in her heart tipping back and forth. She knew her next decision would change her life forever. That night back at the market, Camilla's mind was restless. The lights of the market still shone brightly, but inside, she felt engulfed in shadows. She gripped the remaining coin tightly, determined to use her second wish to find the true love she had longed for, hoping it would fill her loneliness and emptiness. As she walked past stall after stall, her eyes were drawn to an elderly man who seemed honest. His stall was filled with love potions and magic charms. Feeling a spark of hope, Camilla approached and handed him the coin, softly whispering her wish. The old man nodded and handed her a small bottle filled with a shimmering liquid, telling her it would bring her the love she desired. A few days later, at an art exhibition opening, Camila met a handsome man named Arturo. He was passionate about art and praised Camila's work endlessly. They quickly fell in love, and Camila thought she had finally found her soulmate. However, as time passed, she realized that Arturo's interest was more in her status as an artist and her social standing. Her wealth and fame seemed to attract him more than her personality and emotions. Disheartened, Camila began to question the authenticity of their relationship. She realized that although she had found love on the surface, the relationship lacked depth and genuine emotional connection. Disappointed and sad, she returned to the mysterious market, doubting both the market and her own choices. This time, Camila didn't seek out a vendor to grant wishes. Instead, she wandered aimlessly through every corner of the market. Her steps eventually led her to a less glamorous area ignored by the other stalls. The lights were dim, and the stalls were modest, but the vendors' eyes shone with wisdom and depth. In this area, Camila met an old woman whose stall was filled with books and scrolls. The woman looked at Camila as if she could see into her soul. Looking for true lessons and wisdom rather than hollow wishes, she asked. Camila nodded, feeling a newfound thirst for knowledge. The old woman pulled a worn book from the pile and handed it to Camila. This book records the stories of many people like you who had the power to make wishes come true, but ultimately found that real wisdom lies not in getting what you want, but in understanding what you truly need. Camila took the book and began to read by the dim light. The stories mirrored her own experiences and mistakes. Each story's ending revealed a profound truth that true fulfillment and happiness come from self-understanding and genuine connections with others. As Camila delved deeper into these stories, she felt a sense of peace and clarity she had never known before. She realized that her third wish shouldn't be about seeking a specific outcome, but about gaining the ability to see into her own heart, to understand her true needs and desires. With this newfound wisdom, Camila left the market and returned to the real world. She began to change her lifestyle, spending more time understanding and deepening her relationships with family and friends. She also re-examined her art career, focusing not just on fame and success, but on expressing her understanding and gratitude for life. Camila left the market's simple stall with a heart full of new insights and deep self-reflection. In the days that followed, she began to incorporate these lessons into her daily life and art. Her work started to show more profound emotions and philosophy. As time went on, Camila stopped seeking external validation and instead focused on her inner voice and authentic self-expression. Her paintings became more about conveying her true feelings rather than catering to market demands. This shift brought her art career to a new stage, perhaps less commercial, but earning her greater respect from peers and art critics. 1 month later, at midnight, Camila returned to the dream market. This time, she had no specific wish, only the hope of seeing the wise old woman again. The market was as bustling as ever, lights flickering and voices buzzing. She walked through the familiar alleys but found the old woman's stall empty. Feeling a pang of disappointment, Camila wandered the market, reflecting on the woman's words and her own recent changes. Just then, a gentle voice spoke in her ear. Sometimes, the journey of seeking answers is the answer itself. Camila turned to see a young woman standing behind her, with clear, transparent eyes that seemed to see into her soul. The young woman smiled and said, "In everyone's life, there are countless choices and opportunities. What matters most is how you learn and grow from these experiences." These words deeply moved Camila. She thanked the young woman and continued to stroll through the market, filled with a new understanding of life. She began talking to other vendors, listening to their stories, and sharing her own experiences. The market was no longer just a place to trade wishes, but a place for learning and growth. In the following months, Camila's life transformed dramatically. She used her newfound wisdom to help those around her solve problems and inspire them to pursue their true selves. Her relationships with friends and family greatly improved as she learned to better understand and communicate with them. Her art exhibitions began to attract more audiences seeking depth and meaning. Her works were seen as windows into human emotions and the essence of existence. Critics praised her paintings for their humanity and profound wisdom, earning her a new level of respect and recognition in her artistic career. Camila knew that her experiences at the dream market had changed her life's trajectory, making her not only a better artist, but, more importantly, a more complete person. She learned how to balance dreams and reality, and how to find growth and wisdom in every experience. The story concludes with Camila finishing a representative painting in her studio. The painting depicts a market full of light and color, with every corner brimming with stories and life. The faces of the figures in the painting are blurred, but each posture reveals a longing for pursuit and exploration. This piece is not only a reflection of everything she experienced at the dream market, but also a hopeful outlook on the limitless possibilities of the future. Camila's experience in the market has taught her many things, but she still feels that some problems have not been solved. She has used 2 wishes. The first allowed her to achieve success in the art world but lost contact with her friends. The second wish allowed her to find so-called true love, only to find that it was based on vanity and appearances. Relation. She began to think, what did she really need? How can she find the balance between dreams and reality and live a fulfilling and meaningful life? Returning to the market again, she walked past the brightly lit stalls, filled with new hope and determination. She found the market owner. The mysterious man still stood behind his gorgeous stall with the same face as before. Carmilla handed him the last coin and expressed her wish. I hope to find a way to pursue my dreams while also taking into account the demands of real life. The market owner thought for a moment, with a hint of approval in his eyes. He said slowly, your wish is not just for yourself, but to find a balance. This wish is more profound and meaningful than the first 2. He reached out and took out a small mirror from under the stall. The edges are inlaid with exquisite gems, sparkling in the dim light. This mirror will give you the ability to penetrate people's hearts, allowing you to see the most real needs and desires deep in everyone's heart. Through this ability, you can not only help others, but also better understand yourself. Market boss, the words carried a mysterious power. Camilla took the mirror and felt its weight and the energy contained in it. From that moment on, Camilla's world changed wonderfully. She returned to real life and found that she could see into people's hearts through the mirror. She could see the hidden desires and fears deep in the hearts of friends, family, and even strangers. She began to use this ability to help people around her solve their problems and provide them with the support and care they really needed. Her friend Sophia was the first beneficiary. Camilla saw through the mirror that Sophia was deeply dissatisfied with her career and anxious about the future. Camilla invited her to drink coffee together, patiently listened to her troubles, and gave her suggestions based on her own experience and wisdom. With her help, Sophia rediscovered her passion for work and decided to start her own business. She continued to create in her studio, pouring her deep understanding and gratitude for life into each piece. Her paintings are no longer just for exhibitions, but have become a bridge between her and the world, telling her stories and expressing her emotions. However, there are always unsolved mysteries and new challenges in life. Although the mysterious power of the market has given her the ability to see into the hearts of others, it has also given her more responsibilities. She finds herself increasingly sought out for help by friends and strangers alike, all looking to her insights to find their own answers. Although this made her life busier, it also gave her an unprecedented sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. One evening, Camilla completed a new painting in the studio. This painting depicts a busy market scene. People in the market have different expressions. Some are full of joy, some are frowning, and everyone's eyes reveal their inner story. In the corner of the painting, Camilla drew a mirror, and what was reflected in the mirror was her own eyes, which were deep and calm, as if to say that she had found her own place. Shortly after the painting was completed, Camilla received an invitation to hold a solo exhibition at the National Gallery. This is a huge honor and opportunity for her, as well as a new challenge. She will have the opportunity to present her work and the profound thinking contained in it to a wider audience. In preparation for the exhibition, Camilla reflected deeply on her own artistic journey. Every work is a part of her life experience, and every color and every stroke carries her emotions and ideas. Although the preparation process for the exhibition was busy and arduous, every step made her feel extremely excited and looking forward to it. On the day the exhibition opened, Camilla stood in the hall of the museum, surrounded by her paintings. Friends, family, artists, and art lovers came one after another. They stopped in front of each painting, looked at it carefully, and discussed it in whispers from time to time. Camilla's heart was filled with warmth and gratitude when she saw the audience's reaction. She knew that this was not only a recognition of her art, but also an affirmation of her life philosophy. During the exhibition, Camilla had in-depth communications with many viewers. She hears stories from many of her viewers and sees the emotional changes they experience when viewing her paintings. These exchanges made her understanding deeper and made her inner world more colorful. After the exhibition, Camilla stood in the empty exhibition hall and looked at these works. She felt an unprecedented sense of calm and satisfaction. She knows that no matter how her path develops in the future, this exhibition and her experience in the dream market will always be the most valuable asset in her life. Camilla's story, like her paintings, is full of color and depth. Through her own efforts and the mysterious power of the market, she found the balance between dreams and reality and achieved personal growth and self-transcendence. Her story inspires everyone to pursue their dreams, while not forgetting to pay attention to the people around them in daily life, and to find true happiness and satisfaction. The moonlight was shining brightly as Camilla walked into the mysterious market that only appeared at midnight. That night, her steps were light but firm, and her heart was filled with gratitude for this magical place. The market is still brightly lit, with colorful lanterns swaying, illuminating the exotic products on the stalls and the expectant eyes of the vendors. Camilla walked through the bustling crowd, each step echoing memories of the past. The air in the market was mixed with the smell of spices, flowers, and old wood. These familiar smells brought her mind back to the night when she first stepped into this market. At that time, she was full of longing and eager to change her destiny. And now, armed with the wisdom and experience she learned from this amazing place, she returns just to express her gratitude. She first visits the old man who sold her the hourglass of time. His stall is still filled with ancient clocks and flashing hourglasses, and each item seems to carry endless stories. Camilla stood in front of the stall and showed the old man a warm smile. "Thank you for giving me time to understand the meaning of life," she said softly. The old man raised his head, his eyes gentle and bright. "Camilla, I am very happy to see you have found your own way." Then Camilla found the stall of the old woman, who had given Camilla a book about life lessons. The old woman still sat behind the stall tonight, surrounded by books and mysterious scrolls. "Your book changed my life and taught me how to find a balance between dreams and reality," Camilla said sincerely. The old woman smiled and nodded, her eyes shining with wisdom. "Every lesson you learn will become a guiding beacon on your life's path." Along the brightly lit path, Camilla walked slowly, and every stop was a spiritual communication. She is grateful to every vendor who has helped her on her journey, and each of them has given her a valuable lesson in life. As the night progressed, Camilla arrived at the center of the market. There is a beautiful fountain here, and the moonlight dances on the water, creating ripples. She stood by the fountain, looking at the reflected moon, thinking a lot. She knows that everyone who visits this market comes with hope and will leave with lessons. The market is not only a place to trade dreams, but also a space for learning and growth. Camilla took out the small mirror from her pocket. It was the last gift the market owner gave her. She stared at her reflection in the mirror and saw a woman who had gone through countless trials and learned love and wisdom. She touched the mirror lightly and then returned it to night breeze, symbolizing that she no longer needed to rely on external forces to confirm her worth. The stars in the night sky twinkled, as if paying tribute to Camilla. She took a deep breath of the cool night sky, her heart filled with expectations for the future and cherishing the present. She knows that every day of her life is her dream market, and every moment is worth feeling and cherishing with her heart. When Camilla left the market, she left behind a series of deep footprints and a heart full of wisdom. She returned to her community and continued to use her art and life to influence and inspire those around her. Her stories, like her paintings, continue to flow in the hearts of those who are lucky enough to touch her world, inspiring them to pursue their dreams and cherish every beautiful moment in real life.